The Robert Bateman Get to Know program has partnered up with the City of Vancouver, the City of Los Angeles, the Vancouver School Board, and Metro Vancouver Parks to work at getting more kids more active. This initiative has brought Los Angeles City Councillor Tom Labonge back to our city and Canadian gold medalist world champion rower Adam Kreek to Vancouver to talk about sports, politics, and inspiring kids to learn about nature and run around in nature. It is my pleasure to welcome Tom Labonge and Adam Kreek to Studio 4 to tell us more. Wow. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you for having us on, Fanny. We really appreciate the opportunity to get kids out in nature, spread the message that nature is good. It's good to get dirty. It's good to get out and breathe that deep.
It's really good to get dirty. It's not good to riot.
Yeah, no.
And welcome back,
Yes.
Councillor.
Well, great to be back. Great to see you, Fanny. And Vancouver's a wonderful city. All of us feel for your situation that took place last night, but you'll get through it. We've experienced that sometimes, but we'll talk about that on another time. But here we're talking about Get to Know, Robert Bateman's great program, and Hike for Health, something that's very simple. You have a beautiful environment here in Vancouver, and even Los Angeles, not comparable to Vancouver, but it's so beautiful with our mountains, getting young people out of their environment in the cities, into the mountains, into nature.
Well, even the CNN commentators and the other commentators in the United States of America were saying, little trouble in Vancouver post-game, but go there. It's a beautiful city.
Right.
Well, it's interesting when we talk about what happened in Vancouver. When you get out in nature, it has this positive effect, and it has this calming effect. When the riots were occurring, I was down at one of the bars downtown, and my friend had this great idea. He said, Adam, let's go grab a canoe and go out on Falls Creek. And so we go and we take this canoe, and we're canoeing along Falls Creek last night. It was dark. Lights were beautiful. You could see some smoke rising from burning tires, that sort of thing. But we canoe along, then we go to the beach, Kitsilano Beach, and everyone's standing there having a great time. Everyone's interacting. Everyone's calmer.
Sure.
And it's if we spend too much time in the city, spend too much time in the concrete jungle, it has a negative effect on
Well, as you know, I think we should put some of those renegades in the bush.
Yes.
It would be a good thing. Put them on the farm. Let them do a little hard work.
Yeah.
All of that. And we all understand so clearly that you might want to riot over human rights or freedom, but over hockey, I don't think so. But sports certainly inspires us to get inspired.
Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to do with this Robert Bateman Get to Know hike, right? We're trying to inspire people to go out with your families, go out with your kids, go out with your friends, and be in nature, right? We care about global warming, about water issues, about all these big issues, but really what we need to do is create a connection with individuals in our society.
Sure, and slow down the obesity crisis we all seem to be having. We're a little plumper than we should be, and our kids are a little plumper than they should be. How did you start it all? Why did you start it all?
Basically, I was 24 years old, and I went to Europe for the first time, and in Germany they drink a lot of beer. That's a true story. But every German that I was
I hear tell. He's been there. He's an Olympian.
I know. Every time we had a meal, we would take a big walk in a forest. So that was his thing. When I come back to Los Angeles, I live near Griffith Park, and I said, I'm going to start hiking. I started hiking. A great guy that I hiked with was a fellow originally from England, but who lived in Vancouver named Charlie Turner. Ultimately, we named a trail after Charlie Turner because he was so famous. He was the honorary mayor, but every morning we'd meet. So for about 33 years, I've been hiking every day. As a city council member, you could implement things. And I thought, let's get on a school bus. Nothing is, I think for any politician, more exciting when they see a sea of yellow buses there at a park facility, at a museum, wherever the case may be. So I bring classes, about 300 children every spring, up to the park, and we hike from the observatory where James Dean did Rebel Without a Cause, all the way up to Mount Hollywood. We get a 365-degree view. We get to know nature. Working with Mary Cooper, the Get to Know program, Robert Bateman. It's a connection. Our sister cities, which celebrated 25th anniversary, which was initiated back when you had the Expo in '86. All this is working together. But to everybody, even everybody watching the show, Fanny, if everybody takes a walk around their block today, they'll feel better, they'll sleep better, they'll meet their neighbors, get to nature. And in Canada here, you have the prettiest nature in the world.
We sure do. In this city? Are you kidding?
Right.
You grew up in London, Ontario.
Yeah, I grew up in London, Ontario.
And found your way to Victoria.
Oh, I did. It was because the National Training Center for Rowing is based in Victoria.
Sure it is.
And we do that because the water stays liquid year-round, right? It's one of the few places in Canada where it doesn't freeze over.
And you two also have another connection because you're a Stanford grad, right?
Yeah, I was Stanford grad, spent 3 years down in California.
Studying hydrology, what'd you study?
Yeah, geotechnical engineering and hydrology.
Okay.
So basically
Was he
earth,
counselor
rocks.
then?
No, well, yeah, but
he was-
Stanford's a little farther
We're
north.
a bit, yeah.
But Stanford, anybody
It's an
from
8-hour
Stanford's a
drive.
real smart person.
Well,
Real
I
smart
hear
person.
tell.
That's it, that's it.
Where'd you go to university?
I went to Cal State University of Los Angeles. I wanted to go to the big schools. I played a little football, and but I wasn't. Last game was against UCLA Frosh, and my head's still ringing because it was big. But whether it's sport, music, art, dance, it's a whole a combination of things to encourage young people to be involved.
And sport, you know this because how many siblings do you have? A few.
Yeah, I have 7 brothers, so we had a big fun life, and we lived near the park. We got involved. Our parents told us to go to the park, and they're important places. And if people engage, good things happen. It's only when no one's there that maybe some bad things happen.
Sure, and we're overprotective today of our children. As you know, I mean, my mother said, go away and don't come back till supper.
Right.
Go anywhere you want. Go to the park, hike a mountain, do whatever you do. Just listen for the family whistle.
Right.
Come home and eat. And now we're driving our kids everywhere and being very protective, perhaps for some of the wrong reasons. And, you know, to get them out into the parks and to get them playing tag. I know I sound old-fashioned.
No, it's just
but
fun.
you know, we
It's
used
fun.
to build
It is
forts
fun.
and
It's fun.
play
Exactly.
cowboys and Indians. You can't do that anymore.
No, but just play life by climbing a mountain. And you know, you will not remember what you looked at your screen or what your score was on your video game yesterday, but you'll remember the face of nature on your skin if you get out there.
And when you grow up, it'll save you a lot of money because if we can get our kids well and our kids healthy, the medical system won't take the big hit.
Well, that's a great point, Fanny, because it's all about preventative health care. It's about looking forward to the future. It's about having that long-term vision. It's not to the next quarter. It's not to the next 4 years. We're looking 20 years down the future. And if we embody these habits in our next generation, then everyone will be healthier. We'll be happier. We'll have a vibrant community.
How did you find your passion for rowing?
How did I find my passion for rowing? Well, there was a local parent who decided to volunteer at my high school. He gave up his mornings and his weekends, and he had this sport that he loved, and he just put up signs. And I was an active kid. I had a lot of energy, and I said,
I hear you were really active.
I was very active. I had
ADHD?
Yeah, I was an ADHD type kid, and so sports and activity were very fundamental in my development. And a sport like rowing, which is very aerobic. If you look at studies from someone like John Rady from Harvard, he actually proves that if you get an ADHD kid and you put them in high intensity aerobic activity 3 to 5 times a week, their symptoms disappear.
Yes, I was a wiggler. I know all about that. But I was a cheerleader.
Okay, well that's a good way to get the
I know,
energy
it's
out.
kind of embarrassing, but somebody said
You gotta do
the other
something.
day they're trying to get cheerleading into the Olympics.
Well, you look at power cheerleader, what they're doing.
Right.
They're
Well, we
lifting
had
up
to-
these girls. They're throwing them
Yeah,
into the
we
air.
were gymnasts. We had to be able to do cartwheels and, you know.
Music,
Standing
art,
jumps.
dance, nature, hiking, Robert Bateman, get to know.
Yeah. You
Hike
bet.
for health.
And something to let it all out.
Right.
I don't know what they're doing in schools these days, gym-wise, but I do see classes running down the seawall and a lot of
good.
kids walking down the seawall, whatever
Yeah,
lifts
let's
your
get out
skirt.
there.
Be in motion.
Yeah. Everyone
On the
has different
podium.
energy. Everyone
Why
has different
not?
energy levels. You have to get out there and do it.
Sure, but you had an Olympic city. We have an Olympic
Right.
city, and we saw the love of elite athletes and sport and achievement and competition at a really good level.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it
And
is.
that's what everybody wants. I think they want. They want to cheer those who compete. It's not who finishes first.
Right.
It's that you competed. Be proud, Vancouver. You were number 1 and the number 2 position in the National Hockey League.
Exactly.
I'm sorry you
We
didn't
got
win
to
last
the
night, but you
finals.
got to the finals. Be proud for that.
We
Great
are.
athletes. And then
But
a
some
couple of
people, I
guys
guess,
from.
aren't.
But the big star for the Bruins, isn't he an East Van guy?
Yeah.
East Vancouver.
Oh,
so
yeah. Sure.
you got to carry him a little
Andrew.
victory there.
Or Luke,
Andrew Ference from was from
right? Well,
Canada.
the 14 Canadians or
Yeah.
15
Right.
Canadians on the Boston
Boston
team. You
Bruins.
know that. How much hockey did you play in LA?
I just know how to spell it. H-O-C-K-E-Y.
That's very good. Well, my sister, who lives in Colorado, texted me this morning to
Yeah.
make sure that we were okay and all of that because they just are watching the national
Right.
feeds. And she said, "When is this over?"
Right,
I
when's the
said,
event over?
"The Stanley Cup." over, dear.
Right.
Don't worry about us. She said, is it the last game?
Right.
Yeah, she doesn't know a lot about hockey either, but who cares?
Hey, you may have not won the Stanley Cup, but you still have Stanley Park, and that's the best park on the West Coast.
Isn't it?
Beautiful
And
park. That was
we
a very good
preserved
point.
that park,
Right.
and Lord
Beautiful.
Stanley's there. He's watching over us for next time. You know, New York City's an interesting city in that I think it was Giuliani more than anybody that made it a walking city again.
Right.
So people wanted to walk and leave their cars at home and green it up, and
Right.
they felt safer in the city. Safety's a big thing.
Safety.
It is. It is.
And our police departments are very important. They're trying to do the best they can. And I know that,
Sure.
you know.
When you think about city and the congestion of cars, if you were to drive a radius of about 8 kilometers in downtown core, it's faster to cycle from spot to spot
Right.
than it is to drive. It's,
Right.
it's actually more efficient. It's quicker to use public transit or cycle.
Well,
than
and
to
now
drive.
we have bike lanes. They haven't been all that popular with some people. Do you have bike lanes in
We're
LA?
starting to build them. It will take a mass, and it will work. Just got to respect each other, the car, the bike,
Sure.
the pedestrian.
LA City Councilor Tom Labonge, our guest. He's 4th District City Councilor in Los Angeles. Adam Kreek, world champion rower, our guest. And apparently he can sing too. We'll come back. Did you sing for real in Vegas?